Ancient wisdom greets you, dear friends. People often say that everything that exists is a result of karma. But do you truly understand this saying? In Buddhist scriptures, it is said that even a brief encounter in this life stems from countless connections forged in past lives. This world is very small, small enough that just turning around might lead to a meeting. Yet, it is also vast, so vast that a mere turn of the head might make someone disappear forever. Amidst the boundless sea of people, meeting someone is already not easy. To understand each other and walk the same path together is even rarer. Every meeting is a cycle of karma and fate. The connections in this life are actually the results of previous lives. It is like the saying, the person you love in this life might have been your spouse in a past life, while your spouse in this life may have been your benefactor in the past. An encounter between two people is said to be the result of 500 glances exchanged in a past life. This is fate, predestined by karma. In the vastness of existence, for you and someone else to meet is due to the karmic ties of past lives. Every meeting in this world is a reunion after long separations. If you're lucky enough to meet in this life, don't forget to cherish it. Fate comes by the will of heaven. If it departs, let it go. Don't plan ahead to walk through life with someone. Simply live naturally together. Let destiny guide you. If heaven has eyes, it won't let two people who truly love each other be separated. If heaven doesn't, then follow the will of fate. Meeting is because of debts to be repaid. Parting happens because those debts have been cleared. If you don't meet in this life, so be it. If you do meet, it means there are debts to settle. Fate begins when, among a sea of people, you spot them standing there. It ends when you see them blend back into the crowd. The wife of this life, what was she to you in a past life? Every relationship is linked by an invisible red thread that has been predetermined long ago. In the realm of ignorance, if you don't believe, then read this story patiently, and you will understand. Once upon a time, there was a scholar and his fiancée who made a vow that once he passed the imperial exams and became a top scholar, they would marry. But when the scholar left for the exams, his fiancée married someone else. Hearing this news, the scholar was heartbroken, both physically and mentally devastated. One day, a monk passing through the scholar's village heard the story, took pity on him, and decided to enlighten him. The monk visited the scholar, stood by his bedside, and pulled out a mirror from his robe. This mirror could reflect past and present lives. The monk handed it to the scholar and told him to look into it. The scholar looked into the mirror and saw not himself but a vast sea. On the beach lay the body of a woman who had been assaulted. Soon, a passerby walked by, glanced at the body, shook his head, and left. Shortly after, another person passed by. This person, unable to bear the sight, took off their coat and covered the body. Finally, a third person came. This person looked at the body, approached it, and after careful observation, took a shovel, dug a hole and buried the body. As the scholar watched, confused, the scene changed. He then saw his fiancée in a bridal chamber, her new husband lifting her veil. Both faces were radiant with happiness. Perplexed, the scholar asked the monk what these scenes meant. The monk retrieved the mirror and explained, "The scene on the beach reflects your experiences in a past life. The woman on the beach was your fiancée in this life. You were the second passerby who gave her a coat. In this life, she loves you to repay that kindness. But the person she owes her life to, the one who buried her, is her current husband." Upon hearing this, the scholar understood and gradually recovered. You must understand that whoever you are with in this life is the result of karma. The one you deeply love in this life has come to repay you from a past life. No meeting is accidental. Even unfulfilled love is part of fate. Some fates are predetermined and cannot be forced. Buddha once taught, "It takes 100 years of practice to share the same boat, and 1,000 years of practice to share the same pillow." Because of this saying, many people try to cling to relationships that are fading away, unwilling to let go, suffering deeply. Some hold on to memories, unable to move on, living aimlessly. No one truly belongs to anyone, and it is not easy for anyone to become someone else's. Those who are tormenting themselves over lost love, let it go. Debts from past lives have been repaid in this life. Adjust your mindset and continue your journey. Don't miss the benefactor of your past life who may still be waiting for you. Someone once asked the Buddha, "Who is the benefactor from my past life?" Buddha smiled and replied, "It has already been decided in the past. Naturally, you will meet the one you owe when the time comes. When you embrace them, cherish it. They might be the one who buried you in a past life." From a meditative perspective, all karmic ties arise and dissolve naturally, including those of love. Love is the result of karma, the product of arising and ceasing, unseen by the naked eye. If analyzed from a worldly perspective, the karma of this life is undoubtedly the continuation of karma from a past life. There is no such thing as two people meeting, developing feelings, and eventually marrying without reason. A friend once said that he didn't understand why he willingly let his partner mistreat him. Later, he realized that perhaps he came to this life to repay a debt. From a karmic perspective, relationships between lovers or spouses generally fall into four categories: revenge, gratitude, debt collection, or debt repayment. The most harmonious relationships are those of mutual gratitude, where both come to repay kindness. These relationships are marked by voluntary acts of goodwill without expectations, creating harmony and admiration. Conversely, relationships rooted in debt repayment are more challenging, as sacrifices in such dynamics are often overlooked. You are very kind, but you don't seem to feel or think of it as something special. You aren't even moved by it. This could be seen as thick-skinned because you are here to repay a debt. No matter how much you do, the other person does not feel touched or respond. For example, a man works tirelessly to earn money so his wife can have a better life, but the wife doesn't appreciate the husband's struggles. Similarly, the husband doesn't understand the wife's efforts in managing the household. In other words, while both are trying to think of each other, the other party doesn't recognize the good things done for them. This makes the relationship awkward. Someone might ask, what happens if one person comes to take revenge while the other comes to show gratitude? This relationship is like one person coming to collect a debt and the other coming to repay it, a most confusing combination. What makes this relationship difficult? These two types of connections can easily make people feel conflicted. One person comes to exact revenge, while the other comes to show gratitude. As a result, the latter willingly endures being mistreated. The more you mistreat me, the better I treat you. From the outside, one side seems overly harsh, while the other, the one being mistreated, treats the other with such kindness that outsiders cannot understand. People might think, why are you so weak? Why are you putting up with this? Someone treats you so poorly, yet you remain good to them. Can't you find someone else? This is what's called the hitter and the sufferer. One collecting a debt and the other repaying it, one taking revenge and the other showing gratitude. These combinations can be truly baffling. However, the person being mistreated doesn't feel all that miserable. It is only outsiders who see it as unfair. Why does this situation occur? Without understanding the deeper reasons behind it, no matter how much you try, you won't fully grasp it. In reality, for two people to become spouses or life partners, there must be a karmic bond. This bond may have been planted a long time ago, a very special seed, leading to the relationship you have in this life. Sometimes marital relationships are not entirely under the control of your subjective will. You may not know why you always want to mistreat the other person, and they might not understand why they willingly endure it. In reality, it's a habit stored in your eighth consciousness, the Alaya consciousness. This consciousness contains many memories and karmic connections between you and the other person. The thoughts and events between you two are stored there. Our consciousness is rooted in the seventh consciousness, or manas. This is the mind of attachment. This attachment is rooted in the eighth consciousness. Seeds stored in the eighth consciousness, when met with sufficient conditions, manifest and give rise to corresponding thoughts and actions, which are then pushed into your conscious mind. Thus, part of your thoughts is not entirely under your control. That is why it is said that these are determined by karmic bonds. Therefore, regardless of how your marriage unfolds in this life, the first thing you need to do is accept it. Acceptance doesn't mean resigning yourself to fate, but rather understanding it as the starting point for change. If you don't accept your relationship, you may use the wrong methods to try to change it. If you don't believe in this principle, then let me tell you, no method will work because you won't truly understand the nature of love in this world. Love, in its essence, is an expression of the self. If you love me, I'll love you. If you don't love me, I won't love you either. If you treat me well, I'll treat you well. People often ask their lovers, "Do you love me? If you do, buy me this or do that for me. If not, then you don't love me." This kind of transactional love, a one-sided demand and calculation, will fail without sufficient karmic ties, leading to breakups. Ultimately, this kind of love is about meeting your own standards, not genuine love. You love someone because they meet your criteria. If they don't, you part ways. But can we ever truly find someone who meets all our criteria? Our thoughts and standards are constantly changing. Unless the other person is a robot synced with your mind, it is impossible. Many dream of eternal love. But in this world, there is no unchanging love. Unless you are enlightened and become love itself, love will not last forever. When two people live together, if the other does not align with your thoughts and standards, negative emotions arise. These emotions are projected onto the other person, becoming the source of conflict. Initially, you meet because of karmic bonds, and everything seems beautiful. Both see each other through rose-colored glasses. This is called attachment. Once attached, you cannot see the truth. That is why, after marriage, different scenarios arise. Happiness, harmony, arguments, cold wars, violence, infidelity, betrayal, divorce, and even legal battles. These are all natural states of marriage, mere expressions of karmic ties and karmic debts. By fully accepting these expressions, you allow your partner to be themselves. When your habit of fault-finding decreases, your mind becomes calmer. Gradually, the things you once couldn't accept become acceptable. Your emotions might still be stirred, but if you don't erupt, you won't trigger your partner's emotions. Both will find peace. If your partner erupts, you, having reduced your anger, will feel lighter. You might see them as a child throwing a tantrum, and you'll respond with patience and understanding. Over time, no matter how your partner behaves, you will find them endearing. At that point, you have become someone capable of enduring challenges and experiencing true love. You won't want to control anyone, but no one will want to leave you either. Your wisdom, understanding, and tolerance will naturally attract people. Blessings, peace, and love create happiness. This is transcending the limitations of marriage and going beyond its definition. When you see the true nature of marriage, you'll understand that marriage is just a continuation of karmic ties. It is a medium through which two people have the opportunity for spiritual growth. This is the tranquilizer in marriage. Your partner becomes your spiritual companion, helping you cultivate patience. When you understand the emotional fluctuations within marriage, you will transcend them and no longer be affected by its illusions. Only by changing your mindset can you embrace the true essence of love. Changing perspectives to overcome marriage troubles. What is true love? It's like loving the moon without caring about its shape. Whether it's full or crescent, I still love it. Whether the moon knows I love it or not, it doesn't matter. This mere existence nourishes my soul. I don't demand it to shine like the sun. It just needs to be itself. I don't need to pull it down to love it. True love means not asking the other person to meet my expectations or cater to my stubborn desires, yet I still love them. Someone once asked the Buddha, "Why can't two people walk through life together till the end? What's the point of meeting if they eventually part ways?" The Buddha replied, "Why not think that meeting in this life is to make up for regrets from the past life? Perhaps this encounter is a result of prayers from a previous lifetime. There are people we love but cannot have, and the things we desire often elude us, while what we possess is taken for granted. When together, we doubt. When apart, we reminisce. We long to meet again, but when we do, we regret meeting too late. Eventually, love turns into disdain, leaving lives filled with regret. This world is transient, full of fleeting unions and separations. Grand vows of eternal love often become lies. Intense love fades into silent gazes from afar. Those who once mattered return to nothingness when fate ends. In truth, nothing in this world is eternal. Past lives and present lives are merely trials we must face. Cherishing fate doesn't mean clinging to love or resentment. Instead, it means treating each other kindly when together and avoiding harm when apart. Statistics show that in a lifetime, a person meets about 220,000 people. Out of this vast number, the chance of meeting someone, creating a story, and forming a bond, whether as family, friends, or even enemies, is incredibly small. Buddhism teaches the cycle of cause and effect. Sins from past lives, debts of love from before, all will gradually be repaid in this lifetime. Every meeting carries a mission, a debt to settle. Only when all debts are repaid will the parting be final, and will no longer meet again. Every encounter is due to unresolved karma. Buddhism holds that all phenomena arise from causes and conditions. The people we meet in this life have a reason for appearing in our lives. Perhaps they are unfinished wishes or lingering debts of affection from previous lifetimes. A familiar song asks, "Why can't those who love each other stay together?" In love, separations and reunions are inevitable. Little did we know that these emotional ties often stem from unpaid debts from past lives. The Buddha said, "If there were no debts from a past life, how could you meet in this one? Every encounter in this world is predestined. If the bond is deep, the connection will be strong. If shallow, parting is inevitable. When fate ends, let go without regret." One day, the Buddha was teaching when he suddenly instructed his disciple, "Ananda, take a bucket and go to the village ahead. There's an elderly woman washing clothes at the well. Ask her for a bucket of water, and treat her respectfully." Ananda obeyed and approached the well, where he found an old woman washing clothes. Politely, he asked, "Madam, may I kindly ask for a bucket of water?" The woman glanced at him, and her face instantly turned furious. She angrily said, "No, this well water is only for villagers." She even drove Ananda away, forcing him to return empty-handed. The Buddha then sent another disciple, Sariputra, to fetch water. When Sariputra reached the well, he made the same polite request. To his surprise, the old woman smiled warmly, as if meeting an old friend. Happily, she fetched the water for him and even offered vegetarian food for his journey. Sariputra returned with the water and food, puzzled by the stark difference in treatment. The Buddha explained, "In an ancient past, that old woman was a dying rat lying in the sun. Ananda, then a merchant, passed by with disdain and covered his nose. Sariputra, then a scholar, felt pity and gently covered the rat with soil. Such seemingly insignificant actions led to vastly different outcomes when they met again in this life. This teaches us that even a fleeting thought or a small action can lead to significant karmic consequences. Every relationship in life, no matter how small or grand, stems from karma and fate. As the Buddha said, debts from past lives must be repaid in this one. Cherish the present, treat others kindly, and when the time comes to part, let go gracefully. Meeting someone in life is rare. Keeping the bond is even rarer. Be genuine, for true hearts exchange sincerity for sincerity. Let go of deceit and foster understanding to walk through life hand in hand. When the bond ends, learn to release it with peace, for every encounter is a chance to grow. Finding peace through the teachings of Buddha. You helped me forget all my sorrows, but you left me, dying right before my eyes. No matter how many times I called out, you couldn't hear me. My heart is in unbearable pain. I cannot endure this agony and only wish the Blessed One could free me from this suffering." Buddha then spoke. In life, there are 4 things that cannot be held onto. The young will grow old. The wealthy will face decline. Those who meet will eventually part. The healthy will fall ill. Life and all things in this world cannot last forever. Just like our bodies are bound by birth, aging, illness, and death. Ultimately, everything will disappear. The earth and the universe are constantly undergoing a process of formation and dissolution every second, every minute. Wealth, health, and strength will one day fade away. Buddha recited, "The young will grow old. The noble will fall from grace. How can there not be separation? The living will eventually die. Upon hearing these teachings, the woman's heart was enlightened, and she ultimately attained the state of an arahant. Destiny cannot be forced. Every meeting and parting is arranged by fate. People come and go, a natural order in life. When destiny arrives, don't take it lightly. When it fades, don't cling to it. What you cannot hold on to is fate, and what you can hold on to lies in the heart. While we cannot prevent separations, we can learn to let go sooner. Live with a good mindset, truly cherish what you have. Separation does not require force. Face it calmly with the transient nature of life. Let go of what needs to be released. Forget what needs to be forgotten. We cannot know how far we will walk together on this path. But regardless of the distance, be grateful and treat each other kindly. Clinging will only lead to heartache, and relationships will suffer. Life is a journey one must walk alone. No one can stay by your side forever. When there is genuine affection, cherish it deeply. When saying goodbye, smile and wish each other well. The simpler the relationship, the longer it will last. The more peaceful the companionship, the more serene the heart. Life is long. Don't leave regrets for yourself. Meeting is only the beginning. Maintaining the bond is the journey of a lifetime. The debt of past lives. Buddhism teaches that all phenomena arise from causes and conditions. Everyone we meet in this life has a reason for entering our lives. They may come to fulfill an uncompleted wish or repay a debt of affection from a previous lifetime. Love often involves entanglements from unresolved debts of past lives. Famous love stories like Niu Lang and Ji Nu, or Liang Shambua and Zhu Yingtai, showcase deep affections that ended in tragedy due to the karma of previous lives. In Buddhist teachings, even seemingly tragic love stories are rooted in karmic connections. The love and entanglements of this lifetime are driven by the seeds sown in past lives. The deeper the debt from the past, the earlier the meeting in this life, and the longer the entanglement lasts. Thus, if life is filled with suffering, don't blame yourself for being unfortunate. Everything is predestined. Pay off the debts, and only then can liberation be achieved in the next life. Cherish every encounter. Everyone around us comes into our lives for a reason. Parents give us life and nurture us. Partners bring warmth and stability, facing challenges together. Children complete our lives with joy, and friends enrich our journey, warming our hearts. Their presence teaches us about time, love, and destiny. Each relationship is a karmic connection, whether good or bad, predetermined to help us grow. Life as a journey of repayment. Life is a journey of settling debts. Avoid creating new grievances as described in Buddhist teachings. The unconditional sacrifices of family must be understood and reciprocated with care and love. The warmth of friendship should be appreciated and returned through genuine actions. Life doesn't require grandeur. Just live without regrets. Appreciate the present. Cherish every blooming flower, and mourn every fallen petal. When time passes, you'll hold on to beautiful memories and a youth filled with joy and no regrets.